Benvenuti.
Very well. Welcome back. Welcome to the afternoon session of our conference. I know it's going to be tough.
Is a bit complex, so I suggested that you take the earphones, but it's up to you, of course. I will speak Italian because we have the simultaneous translation, and I will go for the new NEB initiatives and the strategies to integrate NEB values. So what are we going to, di che cosa parliamo?
So what are we going to talk about this afternoon? Well, we'll first introduce what the new European Bauhaus is. We will see what it actually means in practice. That means that we are going to talk about the NEB compass, i.e. the way we can translate the operational principles of the European Bauhaus into practice. And then we'll talk about the new tools, the NEB facility and the NEB European Parliament pilot project for small entities, which means small municipalities below 20,000 inhabitants, because that is often the case for us. I mean, fortified sites are usually entail very small communities. And then we're going to see examples of successful projects supporting the transformative vision of the new European Bauhaus with some remote contributions. Well, not many people are acquainted with this initiative, and this may be the right opportunity to go into greater depth about it. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, said, "If the European Green Deal has a soul, then it is the new European Bauhaus." Actually, this initiative was launched in 2021 to translate the European Green Deal into tangible changes in European citizens' daily life. Improving the public space and the built environment through sustainable, inclusive solutions, providing experiences to enhance the quality of life through design. Indeed, the NEB is not just a political initiative. It's a true source of inspiration for our future. And it's actually produced a burst of creativity all over Europe. Now, 4 years after its onset, the new European Bauhaus has turned into a global movement with hundreds of projects and a network of 1,500 members in many different industries, including architecture, design, culture. As you know, it rests on three interconnected pillars: sustainability, inclusivity, and aesthetics. These values are associated to projects aiming at transforming spaces, making them greener, more accessible, more beautiful. The new European Bauhaus is not just an environmental program, but also a social and cultural program to actively involve the local communities in the design of transformations. And transformation is another keyword of this initiative. So it's grounded on three pillars, as we said: Sustainability. It promotes a sustainable approach to planning and urban regeneration, leveraging innovative, practical, and eco-sustainable technologies. The aim is to reduce the environmental impact, promote the use of circular materials, and promote space renovation, including the cultural heritage, in an environmentally friendly way. Inclusivity goes beyond physical accessibility of spaces. So it's really about making the benefits and beauty of urban regeneration accessible to everyone. So beauty is not a luxury. These projects are designed to be socially inclusive and open also to marginalized areas. Aesthetics. Great emphasis is laid on aesthetics, i.e. the enhancement of historical and cultural identities in Europe. In other words, enhancing what we truly are. So it's not just about superficial beauty, but also how to improve the quality of life of citizens and the sense of belonging to one's place. Involving the community. Along with inclusivity, the bottom-up approach promotes participation. So it's a shared project which doesn't dictate solutions from the top, but triggers a co-creation progress. So it stimulates the local economy, it strengthens social bonds, and promotes new participation in social and political processes. So it translates into funding projects to actually put NEB values into practice. But let's see how it can contribute to the heritage of fortified sites in Europe. There are at least 5 areas. The first is preservation and restoration. As we know, these sites entail a major historical and cultural value. And so NEP projects will focus on the restoration of these sites with innovative and sustainable technologies. For example, energy-saving technologies, the use of eco-compatible materials, ensuring the compliance with the original design and historical meaning. Adaptive reuse. Many sites are seeking for new contemporary functions. They're seeking to explore creative ways to reuse these sites in line with modern needs, however preserving their cultural authenticity. For example, a fortress like this could be turned into a sustainable cultural center, a museum, or a co-working space. The third area is sustainability and accessibility. The initiative emphasizes these values, and projects could be aimed at making the sites more accessible to audiences with disabilities through dedicated paths and facilities, reducing the environmental impact. The fourth area is innovative design. NEB encourages cutting-edge interdisciplinary projects, and projects could explore how state-of-the-art design could enhance visitors' experience, engage communities, and promote a deeper understanding of the historical and cultural context through augmented reality, interactive exhibitions, and immersive narrative modes. Finally, community engagement, and of course we've already touched on the subject. NEP attaches importance to the involvement of local communities in the design and implementation process. Residents, experts, local stakeholders, so as to ensure that revitalization efforts are in line with community values and aspirations. So it's both a challenge and an opportunity for communities turning urban spaces in more beautiful and inclusive ways. It's what can bring the European Green Deal into daily life, involving more valuable communities. Through the use of innovative technologies and approaches, the project is aimed at improving people, well-being, and the built environment. It's therefore worth considering the program in greater depth so as to preserve and enhance our fortified sites through EU projects. Through projects aligned with NEP, we could strengthen our local communities and help them manage our heritage, as well as carry out shared projects for territorial development. Let's move to practice. How can we turn these values into practice, into concrete projects? NEP entails a number of tools like the compass for integrating NEP values into local projects. Yes, it's one of the main tools implementing values in a tangible and practical way. So in other words, it's a kind of design guide to orient practices and policies in the communities towards inclusive, sustainable, and beautiful works. So my presentation now is going into some more technical details. I know that after lunch it's a little bit difficult, but I think it's important to have at least a broad idea of what it means to apply these principles to our projects. The compass is a guiding framework for project makers to apply the NEP principles. So the compass guides along a transformation process where the three main values strengthen each other to design a new way of life. Along with these three main values, three operating principles are provided so as to make it even more practical. So what are the NEP working principles then? The first is what is called the participatory process. It's focused on involving communities at every stage: design, decision-making, and implementation. Since the goal is to empower the local communities and strengthen them with new capabilities, so that over time they can be autonomous in managing key projects through a bottom-up approach. The second principle is multi-level engagement. Projects should engage multiple governance levels to address at the same time both global and local issues. Take air quality, for instance. The goal is to make an impact going beyond the initial project, combining the contribution of people sharing the same objectives at different levels. So networking is required, working together. And finally, transdisciplinary approach. NEP projects are designed to combine knowledge and practices from various disciplines, including the social, economic, cultural, artistic, architectural, and ecological fields. A systems view is encouraged vis-à-vis issues that should be addressed from different perspectives. Therefore, transformation can be triggered through the sharing of knowledge, through working together. Now, these three values and three working principles are nothing new. However, NEB has the ambition that all the 6 principles are integrated into projects, at least at a basic level. There's a further step proposed by NEB that we want to introduce. Each value and working principle has 3 levels of ambition towards a truthful improvement of our environment. The highest levels of ambition in each value and principle always include the notion of transformation that is designed and should be designed to be beneficial transformation for everyone. So this slide is taken from the compass. As you can see, it features the 3 values and the 3 levels of ambition.
Together.
Let's start with together. So, inclusivity. Let's look at the 3 levels, and for each of them, we're going to see the 3 levels of ambition. So, the level of inclusivity. So, a non-discriminatory approach, and the key words are inclusion, equality, accessibility, also from an economic point of view. So, beauty is not a luxury. So the project should bring to social interaction and solving problem of injustice and exclusions. And what are the level of ambition related to inclusivity? The first one is, of course, to include, and this means promoting equality. So giving priority to people with disabilities. Then we have to consolidate. When inclusion is made permanent through structural mechanisms such as new policies, new guidelines, and new business models. And then the third level is to transform. This happens when the sense of belonging to a community promotes cooperation among people. So we have solidarity, mutual care, collective growth from a social, economic, and cultural point of view. Let's now look at the value of sustainability. This value suggests requalification of built environment and a new relationship with nature. We can think about vertical gardens in skyscrapers in Milan and other European cities. The first level of ambition is to repurpose, meaning preserving the cultural and natural heritage, reduce pollution, and our impact on the environment. The second level is close the circles, so zero pollution, and complete the cycle of life of materials and transformation of waste. And then we have regenerate. So we should reconnect to the nature. In this case, project will give back more than what has been invested, because we'll have a promotion of biodiversity and a change in behavior. And then we have the value of beauty. This brings project to build meaningful experiences. The first level of ambition is to activate awareness toward design, culture, beauty, and also foster sensual experiences through the use of different materials, products, and food from the territory. The second level is to connect, so promoting collective experience and also the sense of belonging. And then the third level is to integrate new cultural and social values. So here the experience generates the expected transformation, leading to new cultural and social habits that change the way of living. So these are the three levels of ambition of the different values that should be applied to the NEP project. Let's look at the operating principles. Here again we have three different levels of ambition. The first working principle is the participatory process, and the goal is to strengthen the community with new skills. The first level of ambition is consultation, allows stakeholders to give their contribution in planning the project. Then we have co-creation, co-design, co-development. So stakeholders become key partner of the process. And then self-governance. The community learns how to manage new initiatives beyond the project implementation. This project is expanding through grassroots initiatives. And then we have the multi-level engagement that has both a vertical and horizontal approach. The first level of ambition is working locally, creating an horizontal cooperation between different municipalities and villages, usually an informal one. Then the second level is working across levels, so pushing the projects beyond their initial dimension and cooperating, for instance, also at regional, national, or even European level. And then work globally to create a transformative impact on the entire project ecosystem. Forte Cultura is an organization that promotes this kind of approach. So we have a network of institutions with similar goals. And then we have the transdisciplinary approach that aims at implementing different knowledge for different aspects of the same problem, because the problem can have social, artistic, architectural, environmental aspect that need to be addressed with different skills and disciplines. So we have different disciplines working independently on a common issue. And then the second level in being interdisciplinary, so the disciplines collaborate for a new shared knowledge, and this depends on the kind of communication in different teams. And then we have be beyond the single discipline or all the disciplines, so equal value is given to formal and informal knowledge. And working groups include not just traditional experts, but we also have artists, craftsmen, historians. So the sharing of knowledge is at all levels. These are the levels of ambition of the working principles that should be applied in NEB projects. So we should stress that within this, a NEB project cannot just arrive to a third level of ambition without dealing with the challenges of the lower levels. So there is a path that should be followed to align a project to the different requirements of the European Bauhaus. And here you can see a graphic representation that can see how the different principles and values are represented. So on the left, you see a project that has fully applied the three values and the three working principles at the maximum level. On the right, you can see a project that has applied the value of inclusivity only at the first level, the yellow line. All the other values have been fully applied. As far as working principles, the transdisciplinary approach is being applied completely, whereas the participatory approach is only being applied at the first level to consult, and the multi-level approach is not being considered yet. So this helps us analyze those areas where we should improve. Well, this is for the NEB compass, and this was the most difficult part of my presentation. Beyond the NEB compass, we have other tools. One is the NEB toolbox, then we have the self-assessment method and tool, and then the NEB checklist. These are all based on the same values and principles that I've just described. Now, I'm not going to describe all these tools, but I would like to talk about funding instruments for this project. And I'll start about the NEB facility, which is a multi-year funding tool to support a project that are focused on the NEB values. It was adopted by the European Union in March 2024, and it will be operational from 2025 to 2027, supporting innovative solutions for the built environment. And there are two main components, research and innovation, and the rollout, each with specific goals. The research and innovation component has to do with NEB research, because NEB means progress, thinking out of the box, so new way of involving people. And so this is where research and innovation are focused, with an annual budget of 120 million euros per year through the Horizon Europe program. And so what are the three destinations? So we might say the first one is linking green transformation, social inclusion, and local democracy. The community is at the center of the different actions. Green transformation is focused on people and the needs of the community. Destination number two is dedicated to circular and regenerative approaches for the built environment. We want to favor regeneration and restoration of the buildings, thinking in an eco-sustainable way. And then destination number three is destined to innovative financing and new business model for the built environment. The goal is to promote change in behavior between demand and supply to enhance beauty, inclusion, and supply chains so that all these values are present in all suppliers. And then let's look at rollout, making change on the ground. A focus on the practical implementation of the solution developed during the research phase. The rollout has also a budget of 120 million euro for the 2025-27 period and is supported by several programs by the EU, structural funds, local cooperation programs, also Interreg and more. And what's the support that NEB facility can give to fortified heritage? Well, for FORTE CULTURA member, NEB facility is a unique opportunity to finance project to regenerate fortified heritage. Research and innovation and rollout work together to ensure that innovative ideas can be developed, tested, and applied at local level. Focus on involving community is fundamental when deciding about regenerate the local heritage. And then let's look at the last instrument, the last tool to develop small areas, small municipalities. The NEB European Parliament pilot project for small entities was developed as a response to small municipalities asking to receive more attention because they have usually difficulties in getting access to the traditional funding channels from the EU because they are very small or because of bureaucratic difficulties. The European Parliament tried to give specific support for this initiative to local projects that are aligned to the NEB values. The pilot project has two complementary initiatives, the NEB Funding Advisory Hub and the NEB Boost Small Municipalities. So the NEB Funding Advisory Hub is a tool to deal with the difficulties that small projects have in getting access to funds. The hub is a platform to link the project promoters with potential investors, ensuring that even the smallest project can get the funds they need. The goal is to make the linking process easier in line with the NEB values and appropriate funding sources. So this platform is a space to facilitate a meeting between demand and supply. So the demand is small-scale projects, such as local regeneration or heritage preservation, and the supply is made up of public and private entities that intend to invest in NEB project, and they are listed in the platform. And we can find philanthropic organization, bank foundation, trusts, and so on, and also crowdfunding platforms. And what are the opportunities for the members of Forte Cultura? Well, you can have access to funds for projects linked to fortified heritage preservation, and then more visibility, so that you might obtain additional funding. Right now, tender is open to designate an entity that will develop the platform. And then let's look at the second initiative, the NEB Boost for small municipalities. It has been designed for municipalities with less than 20,000 inhabitants. It gives financial support and visibility for local projects that support the NEB values. So a way to regenerate public spaces, preserve cultural heritage, and promote sustainability. And what are the eligibility criteria? Well, the project must involve local community in design and execution. They need to demonstrate sufficient level of maturity, meaning an infrastructure or public space, and also political and financial commitment. And the project will obtain 30,000 monetary prize and visibility through the EU Commission promotion. And these might get access to more funding. The first call was closed on 14 February 2025. Now we're waiting for the next one. And so we're now reaching the conclusions of my presentation. We saw that the NEB is a transformative force in Europe. We're going to see some success project showing how the NEB was put in practice. For Forte Cultura member, NEB is an opportunity both from the point of view of available resources for the preservation of fortified heritage, but above all for the quality of life of our communities that should be involved in all stages of our projects. If we adopt NEB principle in managing fortified sites and in sustainable tourism, our project can lead to transformative changes in our way of living, contributing to a more sustainable, inclusive, and aesthetically richer Europe. Thank you very much.
Adesso